Hey y'all, how you doing? It's your girl Emma D here, thinking thoughts about things as always. And I have some exciting news. I have decided that I was going to go back to school and get a master's degree, but I didn't know what to master at first. And well, I like thinking thoughts about things, and I like thinking thoughts with you. So I thought I would go ahead and master human consciousness. So yeah, I'm working on a degree in consciousness and human potential through the Maharishi International Institute. And so yeah, doing it online because I live in no man's land, and that's how we do. So there have been so many topics I wanted to talk to you guys about, but didn't really know how to walk into them. And I feel like this is a fun opportunity because I have to do work, and then I can blame it on them that they make me think thoughts, and then I can share my thoughts with you guys. So that's what I'm going to do. And this is now week 1. So here's video 1. We'll see how this goes. So their basic rigmarole is there's like reading and then writing prompts and a couple weekly webinar type things. But what I want to look at is some of the readings because I think they're really fun and give me some new ideas about things. So there's a bunch of stuff here, but what I want to talk about today is like their entry into scientific research. The research we're talking about is specific to Transcendental Meditation, which is the type of meditation that the Maharishi made. It's his technique, and it's a great technique. We're gonna definitely talk more about it because these people are really into it. It's their thing. But as a practiced meditator, there are tons of techniques that'll get you to these levels of consciousness. There are so many things you can do and practice individually. So I'm going to get a little less into like the transcendental meditation side of things and just look at this like on a holistic level of what's being discussed, because it's consciousness, right? What we're all hopefully capable of and maybe want to learn a little more about. I do. So I'm doing it, and I'm paying a lot of money. So maybe you guys might, if you want to learn with me, cool. You don't have to pay the money. I'll do it for the both of us. So bam. All right. So we're going to look at some scientific research, and I'm just going to read you a portion of things, and then we're going to talk about some stuff that feels fun to me, and maybe you too. So scientific research. Experiences of exalted consciousness have been a topic of literary, philosophical, and religious interest throughout the centuries, as we have seen, but enlightenment has previously never been considered a subject of serious scientific inquiry. The term has a vague and perhaps mysterious connotation of some higher mode of being. Few scientists have considered an exotic, seemingly religious experience, such as samadhi, to be a proper subject of scientific study. So to put in here, the samadhi that they're speaking of, this is what they call the 4th level of consciousness, cosmic consciousness. But so essentially you have waking, sleep, deep sleep are the 3 known levels. And then there's brainwaves that go along with them. That's fun stuff we'll talk about too. But this is what they're describing as what they're calling the 4th level of consciousness, cosmic consciousness. But anyone who meditates like that level, the super consciousness, if you will. So, all right. But Maharishi vigorously encouraged scientific research on the transcendental meditation technique, even offering predictions as to what scientists might find. The first studies conducted at UCLA in the late 60s found a surprisingly wide constellation of changes spontaneously occurring throughout the body during the practice. In breath and heart rate, in brain functionality, in blood biochemistry, and indicating a physiological state of exceptionally deep rest. But unlike during deep sleep, the subjects remain fully awake. This combination of deep physiological rest coupled with full wakeness, apparently a natural human capacity, has not been seen before in the laboratory. We are laid asleep in body and become a living soul, as Wadsworth literally expressed it. The scientists announced the discovery of the 4th state of consciousness. The changes in brain function were particularly interesting. At the start of transcendental meditation practice, scientists discovered the brain switches from an essentially random style of functioning to an integrated state reflected in coherent EEG patterns. This unique brainwave pattern indicates the various parts of the brain are now operating synchronistically, reflecting enhanced communication throughout the brain. These holistic changes are not to be confused with biofeedback, in which one intentionally attempts to modify some aspect of physiological functioning. The broad and integrated spectrum of changes observed during transcendental meditation practice occurred spontaneously and byproduct of transcending. The initial studies yielded such interesting results that scientists around the world were attracted to studying the transcendental meditation techniques and the phenomenon of transcending. Because the technique is taught in the same systematic way worldwide, scientists had no shortage of subjects. In ever-increasing detail, their research studies had revealed the changes that take place throughout the body during meditative practice. A second category of studies has detailed the cumulative effects of transcendental meditation practice. Regularly transcending triggers a remarkable and previously unsuspected growth process encompassing every area of the life. The benefits, including the increased intelligence and creativity, improved health, balanced personality development, and improved relationships, are often underrepresented. For example, intelligence quotient, IQ, grows during childhood, then typically levels off in adolescence. Around the same time, physical growth plateaus, with a slow decline beginning around age 26. With regular experiences of transcending, intellect resumes growing regardless of age, indicating that the freezing of growth in adolescence can be unfrozen and that human development need not stop. The same is true of moral maturity, field independence, and ego development. All of them, profound measures of personal growth, all level off in adolescence and resume their growth with regular transcendental meditation practices. This large and growing body of research, encompassing every area of individual life, documents in ever-increasing detail the emergence of a fifth state of consciousness, which Maharishi calls cosmic consciousness, the state in which the experience of infinite pure consciousness experienced during meditation becomes a permanent lived reality. Of equal interest, Maharishi predicted early on that when a small percentage of the population, as little as 1%, practices the transcendental meditation techniques, the quality of life for the whole population will improve. A body of research has focused on this prediction and repeatedly confirmed it. With just 1% of the population experiencing transcendental consciousness through this technique, the benefits extend to the whole of society, reflecting in reduced crime, accidents, and violence. Such is the power of developing human consciousness and integrating brain functionality. So I'm going to stop for a second and talk about two things real quick. So the first one, okay, I have so much work in this field. Like, my undergrad work, I have a bachelor's degree in gerontology, just the process of aging, right? I have degrees in psychology, sociology, social science. I studied people, like a lot about people. And pretty much all of those fields, all of those fields give you very defined steps. Like gerontology specifically, that's the whole thing, is the process. And we do discuss these ages at which things happen, very specific milestones of development that things shut on and off. And literally what they're saying is that's not true at all. Everything I studied my whole life is wrong. That's not true. They're saying that people freeze in certain places, and if they don't do the work to reaccess that information, then yeah, they're frozen there. But literally this proves that all forms of development can absolutely continue if you get in the right mind space. So that's epic to me. And it messes with the fact that I paid thousands and thousands of dollars to get educated to be told all the lies, which is fun because I like this stuff feels more true, but who knows what's really going on here. And then the 1% thing, and we'll talk a little more about this later, but I love that they're talking about this, the power of 1% to do something, because this is shown time and time again, like the 100 monkey experiments where like there was these monkeys on an island and they washed their yams in the water a specific way. And once a certain threshold is reached, like other monkeys at different places never had met, interacted, they started doing it the exact same way. It's like once a threshold is reached, it is what it is. It's now a piece of information which they're saying 1% has a huge impact. That makes sense with other things that are shown that, 1% of people doing certain things can have a huge impact. So that's cool stuff. I'm having fun so far. What about you? All right. Yeah, 10 minutes in. You guys are probably bored. All right, sorry. I'll try and read with more enthusiasm. But I think this stuff is cool because, we do have to look at, what kind of science is going on here. Everyone, myself included, I believe in the mystical. Absolutely. But I also believe that the mystical is science. We just don't understand it yet because all things seem to be mystical. So I like to use more conceptual thought. I don't know. Okay, so here we go. More than 380 peer-reviewed studies on the Transcendental Meditation techniques have been published in medical and scientific journals. Studies have been conducted at 260 universities and research institutes in 33 countries. The researchers have represented a wide range of specialties, including physiology, biochemistry, neuroscience, psychology, medicine, sociology, and criminology. The results have been published in 150 leading scientific and scholarly journals. The U.S. National Institute of Health has invested more than $25 million in research on the Transcendental Meditation program, particularly on such beneficial effects of cardiovascular health and reducing high blood pressure. The technique is widely described by doctors and is also used in a growing number of schools across the U.S. and worldwide to reduce stress, promote learning ability, and develop students' full creative potential. The Transcendental Meditation technique is widely appreciated as an effective means of reducing stress, but what we are seeing here goes beyond relaxation and stress release. We are looking at the fundamental activation of human growth, especially of our higher human capabilities. A technique with the ability to produce such a broad diversity of beneficial changes in brain and body, mind and personality, in personal relationships, and society as a whole, must operate at a very foundational level. Maharishi compared regular experiences of transcending to watering the roots of a tree. Just as watering the roots nourishes all parts of the tree in a single stroke, regular experience of transcendental consciousness nourishes all branches of life. The experience of transcending must activate some fundamental mechanism in mind and body that has previously been unknown in neuroscience, physiology, and psychology. Early on, scientists realized that they were studying was more than a meditation technique in itself. They were investigating a new possibility for human growth, involving previously unimagined improvements in mental, physiological, and emotional functioning. Yet transcendental consciousness is a natural state. Everyone has the ability to experience it. Every human brain is hardwired with the potential to function coherently. Human beings are born not to suffer, but to enjoy. Maharishi said they need only develop their unbounded potential. The experience of transcending is a missing catalyst, and the transcendental meditation techniques give that experience effortlessly. Which, to be fair, like I said, I think there are lots of ways to get there. I'm not preaching that this is the only method to get there, but I am preaching that there is a place. So, just a little more, because there are a few fun things I want to talk. Okay, so a universal knowledge. The core tenets of Vedic wisdom reverberate within all the world's religious and wisdom traditions, particularly their mystical branches. These core principles have been referred to as the Philosophia Perennis, or perennial philosophy, or the primordial tradition. These are its tenets. 1. At the basis of an extraordinary diversity of the universe is a field of unity, sometimes termed the ground of being or the divine ground, in which everything has its beginning and apart from which nothing could exist. 2. Human beings are capable of experiencing this underlying transcendental reality directly, deeply within themselves. 3. The purpose of life is to discover and experience this divine ground, to reconnect to the underlying essence of life. To do so is to realize one's true nature, the eternal self, and to transform and fulfill one's will. Yes, that's what we're here to do. This is, yes. Who are we? Okay. This inner field is described everywhere in the world's great philosophical and religious traditions. In the ancient Vedic literature, it is called Atma, the inner self. In Taoism, it is referred to as the Tao. In Buddhism as Abhibuddha, in Christianity, the kingdom of heaven within, in Judaism, Ein Sof, in ancient Greek, 6th century BCE, the pre-Socratic philosopher Anaximander named it apeiron, meaning the boundless and the unlimited. 2 centuries later, Plato referred to it as the good, the one, and the beautiful, while his student Aristotle called it being. In the 3rd century, the Egyptian Roman philosopher Plotinus, like Plato, described it as the one, also the infinite. In 12th century France, St. Bernard of Clairvaux termed it the word. In 19th century Germany, the philosopher George Hegel called it the absolute. In 19th century, Ralph Waldo Emerson called it the oversoul. In 20th century, Swiss psychologist Carl Jung popularized the Latin term humus mundus, one world, to describe this underlying unity. For tribes in southern Africa, it is Hundu or Ubuntu. For the Aborigines of Australia, the dream time. Today, modern theoretical physicists similarly describe the field of unity underlying nature's diversity, called the unifying field or superstring theory. The terms vary, but they all refer to the same concept, an underlying field of unity from which creation springs. As the Rig Veda declares, truth is one, the wise call it by different names. Yes. So I believe that's true of so many things. And that's one of the points I'll make is language. I think that language is one of the biggest, that point right there is beautiful because I call it source. I believe that all things come from source. God, the oneness, the within, the blah. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what we call it. Because if you know what it is, the unifying field, what we all are, then what the term means nothing. That's pointless. Can you get to the same place? If you can't get there, I don't care what you call it. If you can't visit me, you don't know the address, so whatever. But same thing can be said about other ways they manipulated our language, like manifestation, prayer, spell work, call it whatever you want. We all know it exists. You can argue for the name and then declare that your method is the right method or that you have a better method, and that's great. Everyone can have their own method. But the fact that we can't get past this barrier of what it's called, or oh, no, I'm fearful of your method, right? Like certain people, oh, that's prayer is stupid, or you can't, manifestation is stupid. Witches and their spell work. But active intent is active intent. You can poo-poo on someone else's and call another one woo. You can do whatever you want, and then you can be a victim to nothingness. Or you can just kind of go with, doesn't matter what you call it. You might want to learn how to use it, right? I don't know. But this is fun for me. I think that we're doing cool things here. The whole 100 monkey thing, that one has gotten to me forever because it plays back to so many lores that talk about, we can go biblical, the 144,000, or the Native Americans. They had the Rainbow Warriors, the prophecy of the Rainbow Warriors. And then you have the chosen ones, whatever name you want to give them, this very idea that there are people here to bring about awakening. And that's kind of weird in theory, right? Because how do you do that if it's just a certain number of people? Well, this is showing you 1%. You don't need the mass population. You need a smaller population that can hold a higher frequency, and the rest can move up to it. So that's why all that lore feels right. Because, okay, so it's all telling you, you just need to get to mass critical level, right? If enough monkeys learn how to wash frickin' yams, we know how yams get washed. It's just, it is what it is. And it seems like this is kind of how evolution's working to me. Take, for example, the fun things we've done in the last few years. Now it's monkeypox. There's monkeys. We got to worry about the monkeys. It was bats and rats and cats and monkeys. So I was thinking about this not long ago because we just had the whole all right. we are arguably, in my opinion, right now, we have the strongest, most advanced immune systems of any person that's ever lived on this planet. Period, point blank. Hear me out. Okay. Throughout most of mankind, there was very limited interaction, which means any particular group of people, they only had like limited exposure. And this is how, smallpox can wipe out all that may, supposedly this is how the Aztecs disappeared, or, there's all these different people that got wiped out. But decently innocuous things could take out huge demographics of people, right? But now we have like overexposure to so many things and all this cross exposure. And then we have natural immunity on top of it because you are born, and then specifically if you're breastfed, but that's a different thing, you get all of the natural immunity that you get from your mother. That's a known fact. You also get like all of the inherited traumas that come, but another day. So you get the natural immunity, plus you get whatever your exposure rate is from there. At this point, our exposure rate is off the chart. So the people being born have this innate natural immune system that is like a power system, which also has me wondering if the Vitivids really was more powerful than the numbers like show, because arguably it was the least, like swine flu took out more people, literally bird flu, the numbers are there, but maybe it was like as hardcore as scarlet fever or something like that, but because you had like 20% of people that lived through all of these other ones, so we are the byproducts of the people that successfully did all that. So arguably the most warrior type of all of the immune systems is what we like already had before they started compounding with more and more. So we're developing at a really interesting rate. That's literally what evolution is. No? Am I wrong? I don't know. Tell me I'm wrong, but we are literally evolving, which is cool because it comes in all ways, right? So if we've got super cool immune systems, I know you want to tell me we don't, because health pandemics and blah, 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 and like we have horrible health. We're also being fed poison all day, every day, like known fact that what's in most of our food doesn't fly in most countries. So we're able to fight off all this stuff even while being in hostile environments, which makes sense why like meditation helps and doing other things for our vessels to support them, because like these are pretty epic vessels. We are living at a time that is active evolution, I think. And that might be why so many people are questioning the consciousness of things and like what's going on. Because I think we're getting to like the 1%. If people are starting to question that more questions get questioned about questions and stuff and things. Like, like we do. Think thoughts about things. So I don't know. But what do you guys think about this stuff? Because I'm very into it. We should be taught how to properly align our brains and bodies. So, okay. Oh, that was the other thing I was going to talk about. So Transcendental Meditation as this subject is relatively new to me. I have participated in some TM, like, guided meditations in the past, but it's not something I go to all that frequently. I really, really like the gateway process. The CIA did this like back in the 60s, but it was done through the Monroe Institute, which is a university that studies consciousness, does a lot of this stuff. Robert Monroe, that man, that technique, but a hemisync, and that's exactly what they're talking about here is hemisync. It's about getting the two halves to work together to get yourself to a certain brain space where you're operating, as the EEG said, in that level of super consciousness, the fourth level of consciousness, which is proven by being in those brain waves that we can read regularly. So it's real, like they can prove, and you can just walk around in that status. And if we work hard towards finding what that is and getting into this space where we can like actually start reprogramming, relearning, doing those things that they said are frozen, they're not. And we should know about this, because this is cool stuff, man. So this is week 1, and this is just our introduction and like a bit about the Maharishi, which I didn't know all that much about him. I look at other things like I liked, the Gateway tapes. I thought they were epic because that's very deep into different levels, and like you have to build up a mental space. And because I work well like that. I visualize well in my brain. That worked with me over a very long period of time, building out this mental world and getting specific tools that you build in this world. That just makes sense to me. I think it's cool. But TMs, it's all doing the same thing. There's a bunch of other techniques I've come across that, like, choose the one you like, explore how to play with your own brain a bit and get to a level of relaxation, like that whole relaxation and repair thing. We gotta go with, because we can do cool stuff. And I want to know what I can unlock. There's been lots of stories, and I don't believe anything anymore. It's been like all the monks that can levitate and stuff like that. I want to know if I can levitate. Like, that sounds fun. Just to screw with people. What a party trick that would be. Just look at me. But I don't know. I think there are lots of really cool things we can do, and we just weren't told we could do them, so we don't know. And I'm going to try and learn what more we can learn about some of these things. We'll probably end up talking more about meditation, because I'm supposed to do this like in-person training thing with the TM specialist. The closest one to me is like 6 hours away, and it's super far, so I haven't set that up yet. And I'm sure it'll be epic and amazing, and that I need to make time in my life to go do that, but I haven't yet. So we can talk about that when we get there. What do you guys think? Does any of this sound cool to you? I'm going to keep talking about it, so subscribe for more, or unsubscribe if you don't like this. I don't know. But it was fun thinking thoughts, and I hope you guys are doing great, and we shall talk about more thoughts very soon, because they make me read about thoughts and then write them to other people, and that's not as much fun as me talking to you guys about thoughts. So take care, stay well, look into meditation if that's what you want. We can talk about different types. But yeah, Emma D, out.